Let's start.
Title: The Best Friend.
Mary and Hans were the best of friends. They had been inseparable since they met on the playground when they were both 6 years old. They had bonded over their love of cartoons and candy, and since then they had spent almost every day together. One sunny afternoon, Mary and Hans were playing in the park. They were having a great time running around and playing tag. They were so absorbed in their game that they didn't even notice the time passing by. Suddenly, Mary's mom called out to her. "Mary, it's time to go home. We have to get ready for your grandma's birthday party tonight." Mary looked disappointed. She didn't want to leave the park yet.
"Can't we stay a little longer, Mom?"
she asked. "I'm sorry, sweetie," her mom replied. "But we have to go home now. We'll come back to the park another day." Mary sighed and looked over at Hans. He looked just as disappointed as she did.
"I don't want to leave,"
she told him. Hans nodded in agreement.
"Me neither."
Mary's mom walked over to them. "Why don't you come to the party with us, Hans?" she asked. "It'll be fun. There will be cake and ice cream, and lots of other kids to play with." Hans looked hesitant.
"I don't know, Mrs. Johnson. I don't want to be a bother."
"Nonsense," Mary's mom said. "You're always welcome in our home. Plus, Mary would love to have you there." Mary beamed at Hans.
"Please come, Hans. It'll be so much fun."
Hans smiled back at her.
"Okay, I'll come."
Mary's mom drove them home, and they quickly got ready for the party. Mary's grandma was turning 75, and the whole family was going to be there. There were balloons and streamers everywhere, and the smell of birthday cake filled the air. Mary and Hans were having a great time playing with the other kids at the party. They ran around the backyard, played games, and ate cake and ice cream. Mary's grandma was thrilled to have them there, and she even gave them each a small gift as a thank you. As the party was winding down, Mary's mom called her over. "Mary, I need to talk to you for a minute." Mary followed her mom to the kitchen, where she saw her dad standing by the counter. He had a small box in his hand. "Mary, we have a surprise for you," her mom said. "Close your eyes." Mary closed her eyes, and her dad put the box in her hand.
"Okay, you can open them now."
Mary opened her eyes and gasped. Inside the box was a small, fluffy kitten.
Oh my gosh,
Mary exclaimed.
can I keep her please?
Her parents nodded. Of course you can, sweetheart, her mom said. But you have to promise to take good care of her. Mary hugged her parents tightly.
Thank you so much.
Hans came over to see the kitten.
Can I pet her?
He asked.
Sure,
Mary said, and Hans gently stroked the kitten's soft fur. As the night came to a close, Mary realized that she had had an amazing day. She had played with her best friend, gone to her grandma's birthday party, and had gotten a new kitten. She looked over at Hans and smiled.
Thanks for coming to the party with us, Hans,
she said.
It wouldn't have been the same without you.
Hans grinned back at her.
Thanks for inviting me, Mary. It was really fun.
Mary and Hans said their goodbyes and promised to see each other the next day. Mary went to bed that night with a smile on her face, feeling grateful for her wonderful day. The next morning, Mary woke up early, eager to show her new kitten to Hans. She rushed over to his house, eager to share her excitement. As soon as Hans saw the kitten, his eyes lit up with joy.
Oh, she's so cute,
he exclaimed. Mary giggled, happy to see her friend so happy.
I know, right? I still can't believe my parents got her for me.
Hans leaned in to pet the kitten, and Mary sat beside him, feeling content. They sat there in silence for a while, watching the kitten play with a ball of yarn. Then, Hans turned to Mary with a serious expression on his face.
Mary, can I tell you something?
Mary nodded, curious.
Of course, Hans. What is it?
Hans took a deep breath before speaking.
My family is moving away next month. My dad got a new job in another city and we have to leave.
Mary's eyes widened with shock.
What? But we're best friends. You can't leave.
Hans looked down, feeling guilty.
I know, Mary. I don't want to leave either. But my parents said we have to go.
Mary's heart sank as the reality of the situation hit her. She had never imagined a life without Hans by her side. What would she do without him? They sat there in silence for a while, both lost in thought. Finally, Mary spoke up.
Promise me, we'll still be friends even if you move away.
Hans looked up, a small smile on his face.
Of course we will marry. We're best friends forever, remember?
Mary smiled back, feeling a little better.
Yeah, forever.
For the rest of the day, Mary and Hans spent as much time together as they could. They played their favorite games, shared their favorite snacks, and talked about all the memories they had made together. As the sun began to set, Hans's parents called him back home. Mary walked him to the door, feeling sad that their time together was coming to an end. Hans turned to her, his eyes filled with emotion.
Mary, thank you for being my best friend. You made my time here so much better.
Mary felt a lump form in her throat as she hugged him tightly.
Thank you for being my best friend to Hans. I'm going to miss you so much.
Hans smiled at her before turning to leave.
I'll miss you too, Mary.
But we'll see each other again soon.
I promise.
Mary watched him walk away, feeling a mix of emotions. She was sad that her best friend was leaving, but she was also grateful for all the memories they had made together. As she walked back home, Mary knew that no matter how far apart they were, she and Hans would always be best friends. And that thought brought her a sense of comfort and hope for the future.
구독과 좋아요 부탁드립니다. 감사합니다.